when I was really young, probably about 8, 9, maybe 10. I remember hearing the stories of Jesus and how at one point in his life he was in the mountains fasting and praying and meditating for 40 days and 40 nights all by himself. And as a small child, I just found that fascinating. I also found it almost unbelievable and doubted it constantly and questioned it for many years. And then as I got older, throughout my life, there was always that echo in my mind of that incident and Jesus. And a part of me just yearned to do it and try it and see what it was like. When I got older and went through my awakening and became conscious, it was the first thing that called to me, that it was time to go into the mountains and fast, meditate, and pray. And the big reason for that wasn't trying to prove anything. It was to actually diminish an ego as much as possible. An ego is always calling us. It wants to make us important. It wants to separate us from others, separate us from Source, from the divine creating. It constantly says me, and I. And when you awake to consciousness or enlightenment, the me, and the I has no importance anymore. And you see it for what it is, as being silly and human. So I had a shaman friend, George Sanchez, a wonderful man, and we scouted out the areas all around Arizona and Sedona especially. And we found this wonderful place in Bear Creek Canyon, and it was about 5,000 elevation, and it was away from all humans, and it was up on this wonderful, beautiful plateau with cactus and trees and butterflies and birds and hummingbirds and eagles and hawks. It was just divine. And we spent 2 days loading in my supplies, which I had a tent and a sleeping bag and basic things I would need to survive, and lots of water. So we had to haul water up this 5,000 elevated cliff with ropes and over our backs. And that was it. I basically survived off of a half of an orange in the morning, or a lemon, and then the other half of the orange or the lemon in the evening, and water, and that's what I had to eat for 40 days and 40 nights. And basically I prayed, and I slept, and I dreamed, and I looked into a fire and saw the divine face of creating. I got to go back and look at my entire life and my soul and every choice and every thing that I did, and got to realize that nothing happened to me without my consent, that I was part of it. How I responded, what I did, the reactions were all my thoughts. They were all my choices. And once you realize that everything is a choice, and how you respond to it is all your choice, then you start to see all the silliness, the confrontations, the arguments, the fights, the breakups, the insecurity, the fear, the pain of a human existence. And you actually laugh at it, because it's so silly. What we do to each other, what we do to ourselves, constantly, every day. So on the mountain, every morning I'd wake up and sing songs and pray, and I'd sit and meditate for hours upon hours. I would drink water. I would stand and walk. I'd watch an ant carry a piece of food for 50 yards. And in that time frame, I started to see so many things so much clearer. And when I came down from the mountain, I got to see all the silliness of humanity. The busyness, the texting, the cell phones, the cars, the lights, the billboards trying to sell us stuff, commercialism, capitalism, war, oil spills in the Gulf, all the things that bring us such pain. And I knew at that moment that the rest of my existence was about sharing peace, compassion, love, and joy, balance, and acceptance in all things. And bringing that to the forefront, not necessarily to help other people, because all human beings are on their own journey, but to possibly shine a light and to share. That is why I was on the mountain, to pray for all humanity. Buddhists have a wonderful thing. It's called a stupa. It's a shrine or a temple, and they have them all over the world. And people go to them. There's nothing you get into or go see. It's just this temple outside in the middle of no place. And you go there to pray for the people you love, to pray for humanity, to pray for all human existence, to pray for creating a God, to pray, to give things your love and your emotions, your energy. These stupas act as a net over the entire world, connecting each stupa to each other, forming this wonderful global net energy around the world for love, peace, and compassion. When I was on the mountains in Sedona, that is what I became. Peace, compassion, love, and joy. And I hope to share it with all of humanity.